Let's read all the bad statistics. I think Will Kunkel and Landry Locker did a really good job of making Houston Texans fans want to walk into traffic over the last 48 hours. Here are some down bad statistics courtesy of that duo. The second half offense stats for the Houston Texans on Sunday, courtesy of Will Kunkel. 54 yards of offense, 3 points but 1 net point with the safety. 4 first downs, never crossed midfield, and a 40% pressure rate. I mean, I guess the way you could spin zone the pressure rate is that I don't know what the average pressure rate is across the NFL, and 40 is less than 100%. So that's nice. He did get sacked 4 times. That seems to be the norm. I think the offensive line is even better in pass protection right now. That's the worst part of all. But, more depressing statistics. This one courtesy of Landry Locker. The Texans defense has more second half touchdowns than the offense in the last 5 games. Texans second half touchdowns over the last 6 weeks. Derek Barnett, 1. Jimmy Ward, 1. The Texans' whole offense, 1. In 12 games this season, the Texans' offense has failed to score a second half touchdown 6 times, also writes Landry. How bad is that? Here's a localized perspective. In Davis Mills' 11 starts his rookie season in 2021 under David Culley and Tim Kelly, the offense failed to score a second half offensive touchdown just 6 times. Oh my God. Technically, the Texans in 2021 had one more game to fix that. Oh. More depressing stats. Brandon Allen, in his 1 start for banged-up San Francisco last week, has led as many second-half touchdown drives as C.J. Stroud and the Texans in the last 6 weeks. 1. For fuck's sake. And honestly, would it even come if Derek Barnett didn't return that fumble for a touchdown? The Texans had 9 drives on Sunday lasting less than 2 minutes and 10 seconds and 1 drive with more than 2 first downs. That's courtesy of Will Kunkel. Woof. At least one of them was a touchdown because of the big kick return by Dameon Pierce. The Texans have given up 24 touchdown passes, the most in the league. There have been 30-plus yard throws many times along the way. Want to hear all of them? Well, you've got a 70-yard pass by Will Levis, touchdown. 69-yard pass by Anthony Richardson. 64-yard pass by Cooper Rush. 60-yard pass by Anthony Richardson. 54-yard pass by Anthony Richardson. 49-yard pass by Josh Allen. 40-yard pass by Drake May. A 38-yard pass by Will Levis. A 37-yard pass by Aaron Rodgers. A 35-yard pass by Drake May. A 30-yard pass by Jordan Love. On top of that, there's probably 3 to 4 that were missed a piece, perhaps, by Anthony Richardson and Trevor Lawrence, and I think you got 2 to 3 more by Josh Allen. Woof. 4 plays of 25-plus yards against the Texans defense on Sunday. More depressing stats. Laramie Tunsil got his 15th penalty. That is the most in the National Football League. More depressing stats. Joe Mixon's rushing yards, 14 carries for 22 yards of 1.6 yards per carry average. More depressing stats. The Titans averaged 17 points a game entering Sunday and scored 32 points against the Texans for a new season high. That's from Chancellor Johnson. More depressing stats and facts. The Texans have now lost games where Goff threw 5 interceptions with the Texans leading by 16 at the half, and where they sacked the other quarterback 8 times and got a pick 6 touchdown. Teams were 51-2 when another team sacks the quarterback 8 times and gets a pick 6 touchdown. 51-2. The last loss took place December 16th, 2001 in a Browns-Jaguars game. By the way, the Texans lost both of those games, where Goff threw 5 interceptions with the Texans up 16 at halftime, and where they sacked the quarterback 8 times and got a pick 6 in the same month. More depressing stats. The AFC South point differential is negative 211. That's the worst in the National Football League. Last I checked, another depressing fact. This is courtesy of mybookie.ag. You enter promo code BET975. You're going to get a doubling of your first deposit right away. And guess what? The Texans, who were a 5.5-point favorite against the Jaguars when the line opened, are now just a 5-point favorite against the Jacksonville Jaguars. More depressing stats. Per Adam Wexler, since October 16th, there are 28 quarterbacks in the NFL with at least 115 passing attempts. Texans quarterback C.J. Stroud is the lowest rated passer among them at 74.7. He's also the second most sacked quarterback in that span. The Texans are one of just 8 teams averaging less than 4 yards per rush attempt in that span. Jesus Christ, there's so many more stats. C.J. Stroud has been the most pressured quarterback this season, pressured 191 times. This is from Will Kunkel. 39 sacks allowed, that's 31st. 191 pressures allowed, that's the most in the league. 41% pressure rate allowed, that's 30th in the league. More depressing stats. C.J. Stroud has had 1 game with multiple interceptions in his rookie year. He has 3 this season, also from Will Kunkel. So with all those depressing stats in mind, I mean, can you blame the late arriving crowd? Can you blame the late arriving crowd? I can't blame the late arriving crowd. I respect the efforts of some of the newest media members in town coming to town who have been, I think, really annoyed with the lack of care given by Texans fans. I would point to Will Kunkel, who's new at Fox 26. I'd also point to Ron Hughley over at Sports Radio 610 for Will's part on Fox 26, and I think he does a good job putting his TV stuff on social media. I think the man's going to survive the change. I don't know that I'm going to survive the change whenever it happens when we go away from the traditional media altogether, but that's neither here nor there. That's why I'm doing this. Here is a package put together by Will Kunkel that talks about the late arriving crowd at NRG Stadium.
Now, Texans fans, listen and listen closely. This right here, it is quiet. It cannot be like this against the Titans 20 minutes before kickoff. I need you to get in your seats and make this an atmosphere on game day. Make people afraid of coming into this building because of the atmosphere that you set. I know you care and I know you can do it. Because look what you did in Dallas. You all showed up. The Texans takeover in Dallas was serious. I was told it was 60-40 from a ticket person. So show up early in NRG this weekend and let the Titans know who's boss. Anthony, that's all I got.
I like the pep talk. And I've done the pep talk thing. Here's the thing. This team has hurt us so much. I mean, I'm new to this, but they've hurt people so much that we're at a point now where I think you just want to come for the playoffs. And the playoff experience against the Browns was awesome, but like I'm not going to get mad at people for this being the crowd right before kickoff. Ticket prices are expensive. It's really easy to watch the game at home. And as as Sneakers Most Wanted brings up, Dallas was the Super Bowl. Tora McJohnson says, bougie Houston fans. I mean, yes, to a degree, but you know, this is a city that has a lot of transplants. I'm one of them. And do you want to go watch a game against the fucking Titans? Do you want to watch a game against the Jaguars at NRG Stadium? Probably not. And when there are fan bases that travel and you have season tickets and they cost as much, don't you want to sell those tickets to the fan bases who are going to travel? Going to NRG Stadium, and this is nothing against the fine people who go. I just don't think it's a fun experience unless you know somebody that you can tailgate with. It's in a part of town that is ugly. It's an ugly part of town. That's not to say it's a bad part of town or a dangerous part of town. It's just ugly, and there's nothing to do. There's the stadium, there's the Astrodome, and you got to walk away to get to anything around it. It's just parking lots all around. There's no fun bars or restaurants nearby that I'm aware of. It's just out in the middle of nowhere. Like if the stadium was maybe downtown by Discovery Green, because you got all those restaurants and bars that are right near Toyota Center and Minute Maid Park, or I guess it's Dacon Field now. and whatever the Dynamo Stadium is, honestly, off the top of my head, I forget it. I mean, I don't blame people for showing up late, and I don't blame people for not going, just given what's happened this year, you know? It is a bandwagony town, and I accept you for what you are. In fact, I've become bandwagony myself. That's why I'm an Astros fan now. But I am too cool for school. I'm not wearing Texans gear for a while. I'm waiting until they actually do something that impresses me.